Good morning, Brookham. Welcome along to Sing Along with Mr Moo. Last week's one, you'll notice it was a summer one. I had a bit of a recording problem, but it worked out quite nicely because we're going to look at songs from Oliver. And so hopefully you looked at Who Will Buy last week. If you're in touch with your friends, then can you encourage Year 3 particularly to look at these Oliver songs, because this might be something you're doing at Brookham next term, which is your last term at Brookham before you leave Brookham to come to Highfield, hopefully. So this is a musical called Oliver. So it's based on a book by Charles Dickens, Oliver Twist. You know, heard of Charles Dickens, I'm sure. He wrote Christmas Carol and things like that. And so the book Oliver Twist, which is about an orphan boy who lives in pretty awful conditions in a workhouse, which is where boys without mums and dads had to go in Victorian times. So this was set quite a long time ago, over 100 years ago. He is treated really badly. And the first song in this is called Food, Glorious Food, because these boys are served gruel. Gruel is a kind of a slop. So these are pictures from the musical here. So at the bottom here, I don't know if you can see, but there's a kind of a big barrel or a big cauldron of gruel. It's like a sloppy porridge, it's disgusting stuff. And that's all they eat, so these boys are really, really, really hungry. And they draw lots one day, and Oliver gets the short straw, and his job is to go up with his bowl and says, "Please sir, can I have some more?" At which point Mr Bumble, who runs the workhouse, goes mad, chases Oliver, and then sells him, and Oliver goes to London, and that's where all his adventures start, which we'll look at in a few weeks. So the first song in this show, this musical, is Food, Glorious Food, and these are these boys who are starving, they're hungry, they have one thing to eat twice a day, and they are dreaming of amazing food. So this is that song. So hopefully you've got your words in front of you. So you can see it starts with, "Is it worth waiting for?" We're going to jump down and do the chorus. So the chorus will be a few lines down, and it starts with "Food, glorious food, hot sausage and mustard. While we're in the mood, cold jelly and custard, peas, pudding and saveloy. What next?" The saveloy is a type of sausage. What next is the question. "Eat, rich gentlemen, get it, boy." Oh, sorry, have it, boys. I haven't got my glasses on. "Indigestion." Indigestion, once you've eaten too much food, that's where you feel a bit sick. Okay, so that's our beginning. I'm just going to start singing and you join in with me. It's quite early in the morning. It's not yet 9 o'clock. So apologies, I haven't started singing, I haven't done my warm-ups, but we're going to go straight in. Here we go, ready? And food, glorious food, hot sausage and mustard. While we're in the mood, cold jelly and custard, peas, pudding and saveloys. What next is the question? Which gentlemen have it, boys, indigestion? Okay, let's just have a little go at that. So there's a funky little rhythm in this you've got to get. So it's ba 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 ba. It's what we call syncopation. And then it happens again. Ba, 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 ba. Really, really important that you feel that funky, funky rhythm. Funky monkeys everywhere, please, everybody. Let's have another go. Straight in on that Food, Glorious Food. So it's Food, Glorious, ready, and Food, Glorious Food. Hot sausage and mustard. While we're in the mood, cold jelly and custard. Peas, pudding and saveloys. What next is the question? Which gentlemen have it, boys, indigestion? And at that point there, indigestion, we say indigestion, but it's a bit of a joke. There is no syncopation, there's no funky rhythms, and this is where you feel a little bit sick and the music is slightly queasy. That's where you're feeling you're going to be a bit sick. So, indigestion. So you can be a little bit dramatic. Yes, you're telling a fun story, and this is certainly, you're a poor orphan child, but you're dreaming about these amazing things, and you're so desperate for food that you'd even put up with having indigestion. Okay, let's carry on now. So it's Food, Glorious Food. We're anxious to try it. 3 banquets a day, our favourite diet. Same music. Ready? And Food, Glorious Food. We're anxious to try it. 3 banquets a day, our favourite diet. Just picture a great big steak, fried potatoes, tuna, food, wonderful food, to really open up my mouth with all those foods. Food wonderful, food marvellous, food glorious, food. Yes? So it really is a celebration of food, this song. And there's steak here. Yes, I mean, everyone in my family loves a little bit of steak. We're not vegetarians yet. And so that bit there, the music changes when you sing that, and you're thinking about how the different ways you can cook a steak. Just make a great big steak, fried, roasted or stewed on. So you've got to have a crescendo, it's got to get louder through that. So you need to try and tell the story through your face. Yes, you're singing the words, but also your face has got to show that enthusiasm and happiness. I'm actually starting to feel, it's 8:56 in the morning, and I'm starting to feel as though I want to eat some food. I've just had breakfast, not steak, and I'm starting to feel a little bit hungry. Okay, so we're just going to go back and we're going to sing that chorus through one more time, okay? So it's quite jaunty, and the last thing is the end of each phrase, glorious, good, really, really long notes. I want you to see if you can do this in one breath. So it's not, glorious, good, we're a sausage and mustard. It's not short notes at the end, it's really, really long notes, and they're often the sounds, yes? Glorious food, hot sausage and mustard, while we're in the mood. So yes, try and pretend that you're a cow. Mood, really, really long sounds. Okay, here we go. That's your start now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Glorious food, hot sausage and mustard, while we're in the mood, gorgeous custard. Please put in some noise. What next is the question? Which gentleman had boys indigestion? Food, glorious food, we're anxious to try it. 3 banquets a day, our favourite diet. Just picture a great big steak, fried, roasted or stewed on. Food, wonderful, food, marvellous, food, glorious food. And did you see that when I started with just picture a great big steak, and also when I started with peas, pudding and saveloy, I dropped down, as in my volume, my dynamics. I got quieter so that then I could get louder. So when the music drops down to, just drop your volume down a little bit. Okay, that's the first chorus, as it were. Let's go back to the verse. So this is the start of the song, and it's got a march. And the start of the show has the boys marching in. They've been working, and they march into the dining hall. It's quite a tired march. They're dressed in rags, they're hungry, they're tired, they've been beaten. It's not a very nice life working in a workhouse. And it's got a rhythm. The rhythm is like this. Is it worth waiting for till we live to 84? Will we ever get it? Groove. Let's just listen to that interval there. Groove. Let's do that to la, la, la. Let's do it to ma, 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 and gruel, and gruel. Okay, here we go from the beginning. Ba, ba, ba. It's a little slightly lazy dotted rhythm. Is it worth waiting for? If we live to 84, will we ever get it? Well, every day say a prayer. Will they change the bill of fare? Still we need the same old well, there's not to cost, not to come. Can we fight? Can we beg? Can we borrow or catch? But there's nothing to stop us from getting a thrill when we all close our eyes and we imagine. Stop. And that's where we go into food, and the mood, as well as the food, completely changes. So we've gone from a march to your funky syncopated rhythm. Okay, so let's do that again. So this first bit here, you haven't really started dreaming yet until you sing while we close our eyes and imagine, and then that's when you get transported into this sort of fantasy of having all these foods. So we want more of a trudgy march at the beginning. Here we go, let's have another go. Ready and is it worth waiting for? If we live till 84, will we ever get it? Well, every day out there, open up your lungs. So how you stand, how you sit is really, really important when you sing, so that your lungs and your chest have got the best, and your diaphragm, which is where we get our power from, which is that kind of trampoline muscle that's inside our bodies that separates this cavity, your chest, from your abdomen. Yeah, so down here is all my digestive stuff, and from in between there's like a trampoline inside my body, and we use that when we sing. So you've got to really sit properly. If I sit really badly, or if I'm lying on the floor, it's really hard to use your diaphragm and sing properly. So how we sit, I don't know if you noticed how I sit at the piano, but with a straight back. I'm no singer, but I know that I have to sit properly if I want to make a good sound. So, once you've done that bit, you'll see on your words that we do the chorus again. So we don't go back to the verse, we don't go back to the march, but it's more food, glorious food, don't care what it looks like, burned, underdone, crude, don't care what the cook's like. Just thinking of growing fat, our senses are reeling, one moment of knowing that, full up feeling, and you've got to make sure we hear that up, otherwise that gets swallowed, excuse the pun, but full up feeling, we don't want to hear that, we want to hear full up feeling, and then food, glorious food, what wouldn't we give for that extra, sorry, my page turned, that extra bit more, that's all that we live for. Why should we be fated to? Be careful of that one there, it's not fatted, it's not double T, it's fated. Fated means that that is your destiny. Do nothing but brood, which means be miserable about the fact that, oh, food, magical food, wonderful food, marvellous food, fabulous food, beautiful food, glorious food. Yes, there's lots of foods. I'm going to try and get this right. I'm trying to read very small print, early in the morning, haven't put my glasses on, not very clever. Okay, so here we go, this is our second verse, here we go, this is the last thing today everybody, alright, ready, here we go, and food, glorious food, don't care what it looks like, burnt, underdone, crude, don't care what it cooks like, just thinking of growing fat, our senses are reeling. This is one of your big songs we're going to learn this time. It's a great song. I really, really hope that we get a chance to sing it live all together after half term when we come back to school. That would be really, really exciting. You'll have noticed on that second verse, I was enunciating really clearly. So I was making sure the ends of my words, because there's a lot of words, a lot of T words, that you've got to be careful when you're singing that you pronounce the end of your words. Yes? Don't care what the cook's like. You've really got to get that sound of cook's like. Just thinking of growing fat. It's not growing fat, which is easy when you're singing, so be careful of that. Okay, I'm not going to do any more of this. You're welcome, and I'd love you to go back and watch this video again another day and run through that song again, and I will see you next week with another Oliver song. Alright, and if you get a chance, practice your Who Will Buy, which is on my YouTube channel from last week. Alright everyone, take care, I'll see you next week.